Hi all, let's have a look at an interesting game from the TCEC Season 20 Super Final. This is Stockfish against Leela, and this is round 91. So the time control is 120 minutes with 10-second increment. The book moves given: e4, c5, knight f3, e6, d4, c takes, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3, d6. We now have the Keres Attack, named after Paul Keres. And this is a very, very dangerous system. In fact, I would argue that the move order with e6, which doesn't allow the bishop to control g4, is a bit of a downer, because if you consider the Najdorf variation, it has a certain perk that with the move a6, the bishop is controlling g4. There's no g4 here. White has to plan on the move first to try and prepare g4, but also a6 to prize bishop e5 check. So if there is a move like bishop e2, then maybe even e5 becomes possible without annoying bishop b5 check and knight f5 and that sort of thing. So a6 kind of avoids, in a way, the Najdorf kind of avoids the whole Keres attack in a way. But if we look at this game with e6, it blunts that bishop's control of g4. So okay, Kasparov, I believe, used to play the Scheveningen structure without a6, and quite often the Keres attack was possible, and he sort of later changed to Najdorf, in my view, if you look at Kasparov games. So anyway, d6 here, we have g4. So this Scheveningen pawn structure with g4, we have now bishop e7, and this is the end of the book given. Now here, I mean, there's other moves for black. h6 is possible as well, and this situation is could be quite nice for white as well. It's a little bit trickier. Here there's a trap, queen takes d4, then there's bishop takes c6 check, picking up the queen. So if queen c4, yeah, white's doing okay here, nice advantage. So anyway, there are options, but bishop e7 was the end of the book given. So g5, knight fd7, bishop e3, knight c6, and now Stockfish plays h4. We have black castling, f4, queen b6, a3. This sets a little trap up, this a3. d5 is played. If queen takes b2, then there's knight a4. The a3 pawn stops the use of the queen using a3, and if the queen has to give herself up, there's no compensation there. So a3, black reacts in the center with d5. It's kind of considered the classic recipe to try and counterattack in the center to a flank attack, but here white's control of the center is quite strong. After e takes, knight takes, bishop c5. Bishop takes c5 is played, knight takes, and now a strong looking central move, queen d4. Not trying to grab any material, just trying to consolidate this position. Queen d4, we have e5, and again, not trying to grab material, Stockfish bypasses things with queen b4. It seems as though f takes might be plausible, but it gives counterplay, a little bit of counterplay to black, you could argue. So it seems queen b4 is in a way less controversial. Now we have e takes, and white castles queenside. Queen takes b4, a takes. You might think, wow, Stockfish is super dynamic, not only not going over after material, but also accepting double pawns. This is a fairly dominating position with that central d6 pawn now. If we look at this, take stock here. So it's equal on pawns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Both sides have double pawns. But after knight e5, knight d5, white's central control seems more dangerous. We have bishop g4, rook e1, f6. If knight d7 is played here, then rook g1, and after bishop e6, knight takes f4, pawn up. And this is looking terrible for black. After bishop h3, rook d1, it looks as though white's getting great pawns on the queen side. Protected pass pawn is a big advantage for white. So we see actually f6, g takes, and now knight takes f4. So white is now in the driving seat. It looks quite bad, this position already for black. So now rook g1 is played, and this is winning material. After rook takes d6, bishop h3, rook d4 is played. If a move like h5, then there's things like knight takes h5 as an example. So we have rook d4, and now rook takes e5, winning 2 minor pieces for a rook. So rook takes g4, king f7, knight e2, rook takes, bishop takes. So this is a very nice position for white with the 2 minor pieces. Let's see what happened. Rook g8, bishop f3, e4, bishop takes, rook g4, bishop takes b7, rook takes h4, c3, h5, king d2, rook g4, king e3, the king centralizes, knight d4, rook g7, bishop c8, rook g1, knight f3 hitting the rook, rook h1, king f4, king f6, bishop g4, rook f1, bishop h3, keeping a locking key on that h-pawn, king e3, not minding giving up b2, it's a double pawn anyway, bishop c8, a5. If, for example, rook b3, then just king d4 looks good. So a5 is a little bit desperate, and black's getting all tied up now. Yeah, this is really, really hopeless, this position. Here we have king e7. White didn't even, black didn't even take on a6. So king e7. And we do have knight takes h4, king d8. It's hopeless, this position. Black might as well resign here after bishop b7. The game continues a little bit. Yeah, it continued till checkmate. So let's have a look. Game continued. And here, this is actually checkmate. So yeah, a very interesting game from TCEC, but it shows to me that the Keres attack is validated yet again at the highest levels of engine chess as being a very, very dangerous system of choice against this Scheveningen structure. So, classic opening principles about piece development, etc. There's sometimes useful exceptions. You don't want to just develop pieces. You want to drive the opponent's pieces to worse positions. This dynamic approach to how we treat particular positions in the opening overrides the general piece development principles, perhaps. The Keres attack is a very, very useful exception case where this flank attack is extremely useful and dangerous. So, yeah, surviving this test in 2021. The great Estonian Paul Keres, check him out, the uncrowned kind of king of the game, one of the uncrowned kings, arguably. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. And by the way, I've got great news. I did mention it in the community tab on the channel yesterday. My tactics course on Udemy, which you can get with, there's a voucher code here, Kingscrusher TV/chess tactics, or even more special, guys, even more discount, Kingscrusher TV/chess tactics -special. I'll put that in a pinned comment and in the description of this video for the next few days. That's the maximum discount you can get, and it's a bestseller. It's actually a bestseller. I think for good reason. It is good quality bestseller. I know sometimes you might get these bestsellers like on Amazon, which might be dodgy. No, I think this is a good quality bestseller. Check out the reviews for yourself. And no, I didn't bribe anyone. There's no bribery or corruption. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. It's actually a bestseller, though. Check out. It's really good. People are enjoying it. I get positive feedback all the time from it. People are improving their rating. So kingscrusher.tv/chess tactics, or currently even more discounted, Kingscrusher TV/chess tactics. That's special. There's also my other courses to check out, and tactics training also has a dash special to it, but the others don't actually. They're just at the standard discount, which I hope you still might consider. So check out those others as well. Kingscrusher TV, Opening Tango, Pawns, London System. Pointing my finger. London System. Okay. All right. Anyway, I will cover more TCEC games I don't want this channel just to be, just adverts for my courses, but I do enjoy doing the courses recently. So I want to cover more TCEC games. So it was a closer margin overall in TCEC for Stockfish than last time, which shows there's still possibilities for improving both Leela and Stockfish. Perhaps they both took some losses. Whilst the winner of the match can still lose, then there's there's still competition. It still makes it that drama, that tension that exists in the engine world. That's great. Okay, thanks very much.